So before I get into it, over 90% of y'all are not subscribed to the channel, so make sure y'all subscribe, like the video, do all that shit. So anyway, I recently just watched Trap Lord Ross's 4-hour documentary about King Von and the shit that he was up to all the way up until his death. And I really just want to sit down and talk about the whole thing, how I think about Von, how I believe Von should be perceived, and all these other things. I know damn well I'm not going to react to any part of the video. I'm not going to steal any of his content or anything like that. This is just a discussion video. So if you want to go see this video, go find it. I'm probably not going to put it in the link in the description. I might if I'm not lazy, but I might be lazy. I don't know. Anyway, let's just get into it. Let me tell y'all how or what I think about King Von and just the whole story and his whole situation. So first and foremost, this dude King Von was a damn menace. I don't know what in his bloodline made him actually become a quote-unquote gangster like that, but he was doing stuff in the streets that I have never heard of in my life. We always hear rappers rap about, oh, I did this to this person, I can get this person touched, I can do this, that on third. This man King Von actually did it. And the funny part is, he would have gotten away with it if he didn't start that beat with Quando Rondo and Youngboy. He would have gotten away with it. That's the crazy part. He probably would have been free. Now, later on, after his death, I think it was around 2021 or something like that, which was around 2 years or a year and a half after he passed, he would have been locked up anyway, now that I think about it, because of the whole KI situation and the fact that he actually killed that little girl, which is a damn shame, by the way. So he would have been locked up, but it's crazy for how a very long time or a decent amount of time after his passing, we really thought if it wasn't for that situation, he would have gotten away with it. And on one hand, I want to feel bad for King Von and how his life turned out, and how because of his own arrogance and his ego of what he did in the streets that it led to his downfall. But at the end of the day, like, Von, the way he was tweeting and stuff, and reading his tweets is crazy as hell, because he would be tweeting hours, sometimes even minutes before he killed somebody or he was involved in the killing. I feel like that's insane. But before I get to what I was gonna say a second ago, CPD, Chicago Police Department, what the fuck, bro? How did you niggas not see these tweets? This was like 2012, right? So I'm not saying they would have been on this shit immediately, but this nigga was literally tweeting out niggas' names. Like, how hard would it have been to search up Mark in Twitter and figure, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know it isn't that simple, but for the love of God, y'all have millions upon millions of dollars. Y'all, I know they had like somebody who knew about Twitter at the time or something along those lines. If regular street niggas and regular niggas from the hood can find a tweet, if Trap Lord Ross could find a tweet that was years ago today, there's no way in hell you're telling me that CPD wasn't already on that shit back then. I don't know. Now, CPD usually gets a bad rep for just not giving a fuck about what happens in the city. And because of that situation, or because of this situation where Von was literally tweeting like minutes or sometimes hours before somebody dies, I understand why people say that. Because if it was me and I was an intern working, I would have been like, well, there's this dude who we know has the name King Von in the streets, who has a name on Twitter, and he's talking about murders before they happen. Like, I would have been like, does nobody want to get on this shit? Because this is ridiculous. I just can't deny that part of me has sympathy for King Von. You know, I feel like if he grew up like me, obviously he wouldn't have been in that life. Because I don't care what nobody say, nobody chooses to be a gangster. Even after you kill somebody, your next thought isn't I need to kill more people. Your next thought is, what the fuck am I doing? That's your next thought. You want to know how I know? Because anybody who's killed somebody and has been on that shit where it's like, oh man, I need to kill more people, I need to up the skull and all this other shit, they don't really mean that type of shit. They don't mean that shit that they saying. They really don't. Nobody wants to kill or take somebody else's life just because of they did something that, you know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to do that. Absolutely nobody. Because Von, if you look at it, he had compassion for people. He had compassion for women. He had compassion for children. He was truly a compassionate person, and his relationship with Asian Doll really shows me that, because he was really taking this girl out on dates, buying her stuff. And the one interview where he was basically like kind of being shy or whatever, talking about the situation as a 20, I guess at that time, 24, 25-year-old man, it makes me think like that's some shit I should be doing. You at 25, 26 years old should not be afraid or shy when somebody brings up a girl that you're dating. You know what I'm saying? Which makes me think in my mind like, because of how he grew up, he was never really able to have relationships. He was never able to form relationships. He wasn't able to keep relationships. And the people he trusted that were around him was probably like people he could count on one hand, because the rest of the people he was cool with died. I mean, T-Roy, his best friend, died, and he was in jail. So that shortens the list of how many people you can trust drastically. Because when he died, who the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody really do nothing to get back for him or anything like that. And I sound like a nerd talking about this shit, I know. But again, it really just makes me sad to hear somebody like King Von do the things that he was doing, knowing full well if he had just grew up a little differently, if somebody in his life was like, yo, you can't be doing this shit, if somebody, or maybe a group of people were like, yo, you can't be on this type of bullshit, that maybe he would have stopped a long time ago, and he would have had some humility, and he would have had some humbleness, and not thinking that he was invincible, thinking that he could just do whatever he want. And in his tweets back then, again, I'm gonna go back to his tweets because this nigga tweeted a lot. For a street nigga who doesn't say much, this nigga tweeted a lot. He knew damn well he was either gonna be dead or in jail. He knew those were his only two options. And on one hand, I want to feel bad for him. I really do, because of how he grew up. He wasn't really given that much of a choice. He had to join the gang at a very young age. But on the other hand, I look at it and it's like he knew damn well what he was doing was wrong. And at some point, he became the demon that he so desperately wanted to be. And even after he got out of his life, I kind of blame Dirk a little bit after he got out of Chicago, because it's like, you know damn well what type of life your life brings. Like, Dirk was in the game for a minute before he really popped off with that Drake song. And he could have told King Von, or could have put King Von in a better position a long ass time ago. I'm not saying that he should have been near King Von at all times, because Von's a grown ass man. He was gonna do whatever he wanted to do regardless. But I feel as though if you take somebody out of that life, you need to take them far, 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 far away from that life. Like messing with people's baby mothers and shit like that. Maybe he did say something, I don't know. I'm not in that man's DMs. I'm not in his ear. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what conversations were had at that time. But I just feel like more could have been done for this man. But again, at the same time, the angel on my, or the devil on my shoulder is going like, bro, he was a grown ass man. Like, he could have went anywhere he wanted to go, and he still chose to be around the fuck shit. He still chose to fuck with niggas' baby moms. He chose to try to beat somebody up, and that's what led to his death. So I don't know, man. I just wanted to talk about this right quick, because I really hate hearing about stories like this. And we've heard this story a million times. Some street nigga that got out the hood and was still on fuck shit because he was rich. And it's just ironic that when you get out the hood and you're poor, most of those stories is like niggas just go on the straight and narrow. But when you get out the hood and you rich, it's like the fuck shit just increases. It's like you just constantly more and more on bullshit and all this other, and it's, I don't know, it's a whole thing. And again, I feel bad for everybody involved. It just sucks, because when you watch that video, that one video that somebody pointed out, Lil Durk and all his friends and stuff like that, most of them are dead, not even in jail. A few of them are, but most of them are dead. Most of them are gone. And it just makes me think, like, it makes me think of how a couple weeks ago Lil Durk lost India, and how he was like tweeting about it and on IG and shit like that. And it's like, if he had more of his friends alive, would he have been reeling so hard when he lost India? I don't know. It's just those things that really make me think. Like, I feel bad for everybody, man. And if you are in street life, I advise, especially if you ain't got no fucking money, to get out. If you ain't got no money, get out of that shit. Go on the straight and narrow. Do your little street shit and then get the fuck out. Don't be arrogant. Don't think that can't nobody do nothing to you. I see niggas even in my own city rapping about going on drills and shooting niggas. They not like that, and I'm glad they not like that. But don't ever be like that. You see what I'm saying? Like, you gonna fuck everything up. Ironically, rapping about killing people is what makes you money, but if you actually out here killing people, you're gonna lose that money. So I advise everybody to be careful, be safe out here. There's no loyalty in these streets at all. No matter if you're in the suburbs and hood, you don't know who watching you. You never know who could be watching you. And just be careful, man. I want to see everybody prosper. I want to see everybody do good. Some of you niggas aren't. I ain't gonna lie. Some of you niggas are gonna do terrible. And you know, it is what it is. As long as you do terrible but you're comfortable, you know. I couldn't, you know, I was going to sit up here and be like, oh, I want everybody to, no, some of you niggas is not. But anyway, if you enjoy watching this video, leave a like, subscribe, please comment, let me know if I'm just tripping and I have too much sympathy for him or something. I don't fucking know. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here.